All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the I.T.S YouTube channel. And what I have in front of me is a 30 amp circuit breaker, probably in most everybody's house. This is what is most likely hooked up to your dryer. If you have a clothes dryer in your garage or your house somewhere, you're going to have one of these on it. You'll have a 240 volt circuit with a 30 amp breaker. These are what they tell you you can plug your chargers into. And by charger, I mean your EVSE, your equipment that you use to charge your car. But what they don't tell you is that your Tesla will pull more than 30 amps. More than 40 amps, can go all the way up to 72 amps, depending on how you have it spec'd out. And even at 30 amps, if you don't pay attention, your breaker will end up like this. And luckily, I had the sense to say, hey, why does my Tesla keep saying that I don't have enough power to charge? And it just steadily dropped the amperage, got lower from 30 to 25 to 20. Turned the charger off, went outside. Circuit breaker wasn't blown, but it was sure enough smoking hot. And, this could have gotten real bad real fast. So the point of it is, don't be like me and run your charger off of your dryer outlet, even though you can do it. If you're going to do it, do not run it at 30 amps. Your Tesla will say you can do it. If your breaker doesn't blow like this one, sorry, I can't get it back in focus, but if it doesn't blow, it's going to keep going, and you're going to end up with, if you're lucky, a melted circuit breaker. If you're unlucky, you're going to burn your house down, and it could have been very bad. But I figured there's somebody out there that's probably doing this right now, and if you're not paying attention, this can happen to your house. And that's not good. But that's what I'm here for, to try to help the people and help folks understand. So that's the bad part of the story. The good part of the story is I had a JuiceBox, and my JuiceBox charger, when that circuit melted, the heat that was generated actually cooked the insides of my JuiceBox. This model here that I have was if I go back a little bit, JuiceBox had a Kickstarter for people who wanted to buy a kit version of a EVSE. So instead of buying a assembled retail model, you could buy a kit. They would mail this kit to your house. You put it together and you could use it. And it was very inexpensive at the time they released it. And what happened is I found one of these on eBay. I'd done a lot of shopping, which I think everybody should do. You should always look and try to find the best charger. Even though the Tesla wall unit is very nice and it does have some very good features in it, for $500 for the 8-foot cord, or $550 for, I believe it's a 24-foot cord, you might be able to find something better. And I bought this used. It's only about 2 years old, but the reason I bought this one is because the Kickstarter units for JuiceBox and eMotorWerks is the company. The Kickstarter versions were able to push out 60 amps. You're not going to find too many chargers now that can push out 60 amps. JuiceBox does sell a unit that pushes out 60 amps, and I think it's close to $800. The Tesla wall unit, I believe, can go up to 75 amps, and it's $550. I got this one on eBay for $200. It was used, but one of the perks that it came with was that the owner bought an extended input cord and an extended output cord. So the cord that's on my box that plugs into the wall is 50 feet long. I can reach anywhere in my garage. That gives me a lot of flexibility on mounting the unit. The output cord, which is what you plug into your car, is 25 feet. So combined, I've got 75 feet of flexibility between where I can plug the unit in and where I can, mount it and plug it into my wall. So at any rate, I got a very good deal on this. But what happened is when this circuit blew, it cooked the insides of my juice box. But shouts out to eMotorWerks and JuiceBox. I called them actually even before it burned up the circuit. I called them because I couldn't get the juice box to pull 240 volts. It was only pulling 120. Their customer service is great. They walked me through an issue with the plug that was installed on the juice box, gave me a couple of tips, and got me squared away to where I could pull that 240 volts. But along with that, the juice box was set to pull 30 amps. 30 amps and 240 volts on a 30 amp circuit is asking for trouble. You should only run probably about 20 amps constant load. And if you're in an older house, or if you're not quite sure, you're definitely going to want to check your electric panel and your circuit and your wiring as best you can, or either have an electrician come do it. But you want to make sure you don't end up like me. I have an older house, and most likely all of this stuff in the circuit box was original. And with that, I had an old breaker, and instead of the breaker popping and cutting off power, it just got hot and it cooked everything in line with it. It cooked the breaker box. The outlet actually got a little bit hot. The juice box got hot enough to where it melted the cord on the inside of the box. So it was a very big deal. But like I say, luckily I was here and I caught it. Had I not been here, it could have been a very bad situation. And it was 100% my fault. I just said, hey, I can pull 30 amps. Let me pull 30 amps. Didn't think it would be that bad. I just said, hey, the circuit might pop, but it didn't. And, because it didn't, it cost me a charger. But again, kudos and shouts to the eMotorWerks group. They actually let me send my unit in. They repaired it. They sent me a next day FedEx label, repaired it, and sent it back to me. They're in California. I mailed it off on a Thursday. They got it Friday, repaired it Saturday, mailed it out Monday, and I got it back Tuesday. All for $150, and I got all of the updated internals and pretty much the new guts of a charger with an older box. So if anyone's out there thinking about buying a juice box, if you can find the older original versions that are 60 amp, I would recommend you snatch it up if someone wants to buy it. These are not the web connected ones, but you really don't have to have one that's web connected. Your car is web connected, so no need to double up and have a charger that's web connected. The second part, which is something that everyone should look at, is when you get your Tesla, you're going to get one of these. This is a Tesla adapter that plugs into a J1772 plug. This is the plug that you'll see on all public chargers out there. Pretty much anything that's not Tesla, aside from I think Nissan Leaf uses CHAdeMO and a couple other cars, but majority of all the cars out there, the new Chevy Bolt, all of the popular cars, the i3, they all have J1773 connectors. So that's what my juice box has. It has a J1773 connector that I can plug into this, and then it plugs into my Tesla, and I have no issues with it. This adapter is actually rated up to 70 amps. So as much as you can push to the car, it will take it. I believe the single charger on newer cars is rated up to 48 amps. So again, that's rated at 70. It can easily take it. The juice box is rated up to 60 amps. So my charger's not going to be a bottleneck. The adapter's not going to be a bottleneck. Me charging at 48 amps is going to get me pretty close to about 35 miles per hour charge, I believe. If anyone has the upgraded charger, or on some of the older Teslas, I believe it was the second charger, you can get all the way up to 75 amps, I believe. Big difference. I think it's probably closer to 45 miles per hour charge, but for me, most of my charging is done overnight, so I don't need the extra cost and extra cost of the second charger or upgrading my circuit and everything else that goes with it. So right now I'll be installing a dedicated 60 amp circuit for this to run at 48 amps and not have any heat issues. So but enough talk. Let's go ahead and do an unboxing. I always see other people do unboxings for phones and whatnot, so I figured I'd do one. This is probably going to be horrible, but you all are good fans, good critiques, good folks, so I'm going to try to do one here. So it came packaged out pretty good. Looks like they might have cleaned it up a little bit. So yeah, that's it. So this is your J1772 plug. Well, that's actually the cover. So that's your J1772 plug. This is your output cord, and underneath there you can see this is a NEMA 1050 plug. I'm sorry, 1030. This is what my dryer outlet has, and I'll see if I can get a better look. So this is what I plugged into my dryer outlet. This is a 30 amp version, and if you get one with a straight plug right here, you can run 50 amps. You can also do a NEMA 1050 RV plug and you get the same thing, but like I say, this was already in my house, so that's what I ran with. And you can see here, this is your J1772 outlet. This is your on-off switch and also a disconnect for the adapter. You can see there's a little hook that goes in there. But at any rate, I'm going to try to do this with one hand. You'll have your adapter. Yeah, it's this way. Your adapter will plug in just like that, and you plug it into your car. Now it's not all the way on, but at any rate, this is what I plug into the Tesla. It did 30 amps. 30 amps would get me about 22 miles per hour charge. When I go up to 48 amps, I should be around 35 miles per hour charge. And it just goes up from there. If you're charging 35 miles, per hour, even if you're full, or I'm sorry, if you're empty, you'll be full in a decent amount of time. I don't think you really need to go higher than that unless you're driving, long amounts of mileage and you're coming back almost empty every day, or if you don't have a chance to charge at night. So for me, I actually work night, so I don't get to charge at night, but I still get a pretty quick rate. Oh, and the second reason that I bought this is because I didn't want to buy a dedicated Tesla charger. In the event that somewhere down the road, there's some very nice cars out. I love my Tesla, don't get me wrong, but if, let's just say, the Porsche, and I forget what it is, but Porsche has an EV that's coming out probably in 3, 4, 5 years, but it's clean. It looks amazing. And if the performance is where it is, it's going to have a J1772 plug. I doubt it's going to be a proprietary plug like Tesla. You also have an Audi SUV where the concept, again, looked great. So rather than having to buy, separate equipment and a second non-Tesla charger, I just got a charger that, could work with everything. And I'm satisfied with it. Outside of this circuit issue, I've never had any problems with that. I use this charger. I used it for about a month until it burned up. And like I say, I'm lucky that I caught it. But I used it for a month without any issues. Always charged, at the same rate, didn't have a lot of voltage drops or anything like that. So, with that, I would recommend eMotorWerks. Their JuiceBox chargers are very durable, very rugged, and also their customer service is very good. Again, like I said, They actually helped me with wiring the charger up, even though didn't buy it from them. I told them I bought it secondhand. They still gave me great customer service, and even when I had an issue, they gave me a lot of different options. They said, you can send us your unit, we'll evaluate it, we can repair it for $150, or we can give you a credit towards, a newer piece of equipment. They could have just tried to upsell me, but they didn't. They repaired what I had. They said it's actually in good shape. The circuit board, which is, I guess, the most expensive part, they said it's in good shape. The fact that I had long cords, they say that's a benefit because they charge extra for those. So they fixed my unit and repaired it back. So if in case anyone wants to see what they look like. So that's what you'll see. And you can see I can pull 15 kilowatts. That's a pretty impressive amount of power. And it will self-adjust itself from 120 volts to 240. And, you can go from 15 amps all the way up to 60. And that's a fair amount of electricity going to your battery. You'll easily get 25, 35 miles per an hour charge rate with that. And anything higher, you're going to pay extra. Either you're going to pay extra for the charging unit, or you're going to pay extra to have that second charger installed on your Tesla or unlocked if you have one of the newer software locked models. So this is just part one. I'll do another breakdown on how I have it set up in my garage. I just unboxed it, but appreciate y'all tuning in. If you have any questions on charging or anything you want to know about EVSEs, which is technically what this is called. This is not a charger. This is an EVSE, Electric Vehicle Service Unit, or Service Equipment. I'm sorry. The charger is actually built into your car, whether it's a Tesla or whatever you have. The charging unit is built into the car. So again, if you have any questions, any comments, concerns, any issues with JuiceBox, good stories, bad stories, anyone who has a Tesla wall unit, give me some comments. Tell me how you like your unit, and let's help the people make a good educated decision. Get the consumers involved. So thanks for stopping in, and we will check back next time. We'll show you what the garage setup looks like. Thanks.